Have you ever felt like you could be tortured to death by regulations? Maybe there was a dress code at work, or maybe one day you accidentally received a parking ticket. You would probably be less worried if you knew that in Thailand you would have to pay $600 for spitting gum on the sidewalk. Many of these rules are followed in different parts of the world. Many of these strange laws are incredibly strange. Someone once said that the world is essentially wild and weird to boot. Let's take a look at some of the strangest laws around the world and see just how unusual they are. 1. Don't cut a cactus. At least in Arizona, it's illegal. Perpetrators could be sentenced to 25 years in prison. That's no joke. 2. No shirtless driving in Thailand. Driving topless is considered obscene in Thailand. Drivers must wear a shirt at all times, no matter how hot the weather is or what state their abs are in. 3. Let the homing pigeons be. Racing pigeons are protected by law in Australia. These birds can travel long distances and find homes several miles away. They were previously used to send messages and for racing. The bird holds an important place in the country, and under these strange laws, it is illegal to capture, injure, or kill a racing pigeon. Anyone found guilty must pay a hefty fine of $250. 4. Flush before 10 p.m. The ban on flushing toilets after 10 p.m. is a pretty strict regulation in Switzerland. Everyone must do their business before the clock strikes 10. 5. The ban on skirts in Italy. It may not apply to everyone, but in Italy, wearing a skirt in public is a serious matter and can lead to arrest. I bet they've never even heard of gentlemen's kilts, izars, koniches, lungi, or mundu. 6. The cops can bite. There's a strange law in Ohio that allows police to bite dogs if they think it will help calm your four-legged friend. 7. Offensive gestures and swearing. Kenya has the strict rules regarding offensive gestures. Using foul language or making offensive or disrespectful gestures in public places is considered illegal. Keep your mouth shut when you're angry or prepare to face a prison sentence or deportation. 8. 50 kilograms of potatoes. This is the maximum number of potatoes you can possess at one time in Western Australia. Anything over 50 kilograms is considered illegal, a strange law that allows regulators to take strict action. 9. No mooning in the Hellenic Republic. Well, it's not an actual topless show that the moon does. It's something that some troublemakers do. The Hellenic Republic, as Greece is officially called, considers exposing one's upper body to be disrespectful and a provocation. There is zero tolerance for bare-chested behavior in the country, and perpetrators can face arrest or prison time. 10. Legal dress code. Women in Sudan have a strict dress code and are required to wear dresses and keep their hair covered at all times. 11. Belly dancing for women only. Belly dancing is illegal for men in Egypt. 12. Unlawfully driving through Washington City. Call and find out. This strange law states that any driver driving within the city limits of Washington with criminal intent must call the police chief before entering the city. 13. 2 children or pay a fine. This is not just a Chinese story. The Indian state of Kerala has also passed a law to curb population growth. The 2-child policy gives couples the freedom to have a 3rd child, but the fine is 10,000 Indian rupees. Let's talk business. 14. The fart law. Of course, this law doesn't apply to cows, but California dairy farmers will have a tough time in the coming years. This strange law stipulates that dairy farms must reduce methane emissions by 40% by 2030. 15. Money matters. Destroying money is a crime in Turkey. It is an insult to the national flag and can be punished with a prison sentence of 6 months to a maximum of 3 years. Stepping on money is also considered disrespectful in Thailand. 16. Naming your pet pig. That's easy, but not so easy in France, where pet owners have to be careful not to name their pigs after heads of state, maybe Grant. 17. Exclusive accommodation for prisoners. Criminals sentenced to prison in Sudan are only provided with accommodation. 18. Don't disturb in Australia. In Australia, you should never interrupt a wedding or funeral. Failure to do so not only can a person be banned from attending any social events, but they can also be fined $10,000 or imprisoned for 2 years. 19. Extraterrestrial information. When it comes to discovering life in space, Japan has a simple rule. The discoverer must immediately report the discovery to the UN Secretary General and the international scientific community. 20. Combat rule exception in India. Except in the Nagaland Army, Indian soldiers are not allowed to fight with knives. 21. French swimsuit rule. This strange law states that male swimmers must wear tight-fitting swim trunks. No loose swim trunks are allowed, even board shorts. Swimsuits with butt floss patterns are also banned in some parts of France. 22. Whipping the innocent. When rape cases occur in Sudan, the victim may be publicly flogged in lieu of any harsh punishment meted out to the assailant. 23. Underwear rules. In Thailand, it is a law that requires everyone to wear underwear when they leave the house. 24. Not quite a happy shot in Wyoming, because this strange law dictates that you need a permit to photograph rabbits in the state between January and April. 25. A dilemma for vape geeks in Thailand. Vaporizers and refills are banned in the country. Anyone caught possessing these items will have them confiscated, but they can also face prison time. If convicted, they can be sentenced to 10 years in prison. 26. A dilemma for vape geeks in Thailand. It is illegal to give a bounty to a criminal, and you could be fined more than $500 if you give a bounty to someone who returns valuables after they have been stolen. 27. Codeine ban in Japan. Medicines containing codeine are banned in Japan. If someone is caught in possession of such drugs, they could be deported or face prison time. 28. Selfie and tattoo rules in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, it is illegal to take a selfie in front of a Buddha statue or to have a Buddha tattoo. This is considered abuse of the Buddha and is a serious crime in the island nation. Several tourists have been refused entry because they have tattoos. It is best to cover your tattoos while visiting, but if this is not possible, you may want to reconsider your visit. 29. Madagascar's hat rule. A truly strange law: pregnant women in Madagascar are forbidden to wear hats. 30. Bingo timeline. Bingo games in the United States cannot last longer than 5 hours. 31. Sing only in the key. North Carolina has a strange law that makes it an offense to sing in the wrong key. 32. Shave it for later. Men in Nevada who have mustaches are legally prohibited from kissing women. 33. Permit to stay updated. In many parts of Africa, you need permission to watch news channels. 34. Chickens didn't cross the road. Since when have chickens been subject to strange laws? Because in Quitman, Georgia, chickens are not allowed to cross the road. 35. Mandatory polygamy. Polygamy is not uncommon in many places, but in some parts of Africa, men are required to have 2 wives. 36. Vote or pay a price in Egypt. Voting is compulsory in Egypt. Those who do not participate and vote can face heavy fines or even imprisonment. 37. Deadly ashtrays. It is illegal to possess an ashtray while driving in France. These are notorious as lethal weapons in the country. 38. Run out of gas ban. When driving on the Autobahn, Germany's access road, drivers must obey all traffic rules. Failure to do so can result in heavy fines, and that rule is that you should never run out of gas while driving on the highway. 39. Canadian radio stations must play Canadian artists. Canadians are a patriotic bunch. That's why all Canadian radio stations are required by law to play Canadian artists at least 35% of the time between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. That means that every weekday hour on the radio you can listen to at least 20 minutes of proudly Canadian artists like Nickelback, Alanis Morissette, Celine Dion, Michael Bublé, and Justin Bieber. 40. Hiking naked in Switzerland is illegal. After Switzerland and Germany decided to make nude hiking mandatory in Switzerland 10 years ago, Swiss authorities reminded citizens that indecency laws still exist and that people can be fined if they are caught naked in the woods. In 2011, a Swiss man was fined more than $100 for hiking naked. 41. Feeding pigeons in Venice. Italy is illegal. Thousands of pigeons descending on street marks square in Venice, attracted by tourists willing to hand out food in exchange for Instagram-worthy photos. Venetian lawmakers formally banned feeding the nuisance birds in 2008, with bird culling said to cost every citizen €275 per year. The tables have now turned. If you're caught feeding pigeons, you could be fined up to €700. Instead, take the perfect photo of one of Venice's beautiful bridges. 42. It is forbidden to wear high heels on the Acropolis. When preparing for your trip to Greece, make sure you have the right shoes. The country banned high heels on the Acropolis in 2009, which led to the ban on wearing high heels at the Parthenon. I don't know why anyone would want to walk through ruins and dirt in high heels. It would certainly be difficult to walk and would damage your shoes. But the Greeks put in place this ban to protect the ruins from damage caused by sharp shoes. The ruins are about 2,500 years old, so be respectful and wear soft-soled shoes when visiting. 43. Selfies with Buddha are banned in Sri Lanka. When taking a selfie with Buddha, turn your back to him. In Sri Lanka, such signs of disrespect can be punished with prison. Pointing a finger at a Buddha statue is also considered disrespectful, and taking a photo with a Buddha statue can also be banned. Getting a Buddha tattoo is not illegal, but in 2014, a British woman was sentenced to 3 days in prison for getting an inappropriate tattoo of a man whom 70% of Sri Lankans believe to be a prophet and an incarnation of the god Vishnu. Be polite, cover your tattoos, respect no photography signs, and don't turn your back. 44. Kite flying banned in Victoria. The southeastern tip of Australia, where Melbourne is located, it is illegal to fly a kite in public if it is a nuisance to others. In fact, you are not even allowed to play the game in public if it is a nuisance to others. This is part of the Summary Offences Act 1966, so Australians probably won't mind if you fly a kite while visiting. 45. Going topless banned in Barcelona. In an effort to rid the streets of Barcelona of bikini-clad bathers and shirtless men, lawmakers in the Mediterranean city of Barcelona, Spain, have banned going topless or wearing swimsuits in public, except on beaches and pools. Since it was enacted in 2011, wandering around the streets half-naked has been punishable by a fine of up to €260. No shirt, no shoes, no service. 46. Swearing is illegal in the UAE. In the Muslim UAE, swearing can lead to fines, imprisonment, and deportation. According to Article 373 of the UAE Penal Code, swearing is an assault on a person's honor or modesty. This doesn't just apply to yelling inappropriate words. It also includes obscene physical gestures, which extend to text messages and social media. Naughty emojis are also not allowed. Earlier this year, the UK's Express newspaper reported that a man had sent angry messages to a car dealership where he had supposedly been wronged. He was threatened with 3 weeks in prison for his choice of words. If you have a bad mouth, fix it before coming. 47. You cannot die without a pre-purchased burial plot in part of France. In the town of Salpulink, you can't die within the town limits unless you've bought a grave in the local cemetery. This has to do with the fact that the cemetery is full, so the mayor issued an ordinance in 2008. He added that violators will be severely punished. 48. You must walk your dog daily in Rome. Rome's strict laws against animal cruelty include walking pet dogs. If an owner fails to walk their dog at least once a day, they can be fined $625. This law also applies to goldfish. They can't run, but they need space to swim. Goldfish can't be kept in bowls, but they must be kept in full-sized aquariums. 49. Building sandcastles is forbidden in Spain. Spain very much denigrates attempts to build sandcastles, so if you are caught, you could be fined, and the fines vary from place to place at your discretion. For example, in Mallorca you can pay €100, while in Galicia you can pay up to €1,500. Before you ask, yes, children are affected by this limit, and the parents pay the fee. 50. Peeing in the sea is forbidden in Portugal. In order to keep beaches clean and bathers healthy, Portugal has banned peeing in the sea. Again, I'm not entirely sure how they prove this, but it's safer to just use the toilet like a civilized person. Here are some of the strangest laws in the world. They may sound strange, but they play a role in their own countries. That's what distinguishes the regions. You don't have to accept everything, but it's good to know what's going on in other parts of the world. Maybe you just feel great because you belong to one of these countries, or maybe you're grateful because you don't belong to one of these countries. The world is strange, sure, but some of it is incredible in itself.